You've known him for a long time, haven't you?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You called him Philip. Don't let Philip touch me, you said.
I heard Mrs. Barlow call him Philip.
Merry Christmas.
It's my watch.
You haven't seen it since we fished you out of the river. When did you get it back? Your memory, when did you get it back? You have it back, haven't you? Come on, Miss Petrie, was I right in the first place? No amnesia at all. Or did your memory just come back?
That was Rod Cameron and Lynn Bari, who are starring in this episode. In fact, the last episode of the 1953 to 1955 television show called City Detective. Lynn Bari played sultry, statuesque man-killers in the films that she performed in. This is Lynn as a young woman. Here she is with Edward G. Robinson in a film. Rod Cameron, of course, was in a bunch of films, primarily westerns, and his three most popular TV series were this one, City Detective, the next one called State Trooper, and then followed by Coronado 9. This episode is the case of the beautiful Miss X, played by Lynn Bari. A beautiful amnesiac is fished out of the river alive. And how did she end up in the river? That's what the film's about. These programs are available on DVD, apparently. So if you want the whole series, of course, you could buy DVDs. And I found on eBay, here's a listing for the series, apparently. Here's the title card at the front of the film, and here's a sample of the quality that you get when you buy a DVD. For comparison, let's have a look at what my my output here is, this program, and I'll just randomly bounce through a few different shots here. We've been working this year to colorize pretty much everything, and this is a good example of the state of the art right now of colorize. We got a great comment on the Coronado 9 from someone who said it was the best colorizing he'd ever seen. And so maybe you'll agree if you watch this program. It's kind of a difficult process, but we're getting pretty good at it at this point. So I hope you enjoy it. I think it's time to get to the program, but here's the thing. Like it, please. I mean, if you like it. I mean, you know, the thumbs thing. Do the thumbs thing, please. It really helps, and kind of hoping for maybe 100 likes on this episode. So if you get this far, even if you don't watch it, hopefully you'll like this much. And anyway, so here's the program. I hope you enjoy it.
It's all right. It's one-way glass. You can see her, but she can't see you. Would you come in, please? All of you. About time, isn't it? You first, please. Is that your daughter? Thank you. Next. It's your wife? Thank you. That's all. Thank you. Yeah?
The Barlow.
Oh, good. Thank you for coming down, I mean.
The officer didn't indicate we had any choice.
Why did you want to see us? No, thank you.
How long have you been in town, Mr. Barlow?
Oh, a month maybe.
2 weeks, dear.
Seems like a month, 6 months in that hotel.
He hates hotels. After our big house up north, he likes to keep moving. We're going to Paris.
To live?
I don't know, I'm not sure. I like Paris.
He's been working too hard. The doctor thought a change or some traveling.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed you've only been here 2 weeks. I was hoping you'd been here since last Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's all it says in the date. Last Christmas.
But we were here. Not at Christmas, but just before. To do our holiday shopping.
Did you buy that?
This watch?
Oh, I did the shopping. Yes. It looks like something I bought in that little jewelry shop. Around the corner from the hotel.
Where did you get it?
The engraving must be familiar.
Oh, I just had everything engraved. Merry Christmas.
Try and remember, Mrs. Barlow.
Bought so many things for friends and servants and other people.
Lieutenant, would you mind telling me what this is all about?
It was taken off the wrist of a young woman we pulled out of the East River. There was no other identification.
How awful. You know, Philip, this looks like the watch you gave Cynthia. Cynthia Petrie. She was our social secretary. That is, up until a few days ago. Why, she made the arrangements for our trip. We thought she'd gone back home.
She's in there. Would you? I want you to identify her.
It was necessary. I mean, for both of us. My wife is easily upset. We thought a great deal of Miss Petrie.
She isn't dead.
She isn't?
Look.
But I thought you said...
She's all right.
Is that Miss Petrie?
Yes, yes, of course. I don't understand. Wouldn't she tell you who she was?
Is she in trouble?
Amnesia. Otherwise, she's all right. No injuries.
You said she was found in the river.
Yeah, the East River. Don't know how she got there. Maybe jumped, maybe pushed. She can't tell us. I'm suspicious of amnesia cases. I thought for a while she was faking. She isn't.
We must talk to her, dear.
Do you know anything about her? Do you know her family or where she came from?
Well, I think I know all about her. I felt like her family. That's why I was so surprised when she went off without telling us.
Maybe it would help if you talked to her. She might even recognize you. Excuse me.
We want to help, Lieutenant.
Cynthia, dear. Cynthia. Do you know me? Of course I know you.
You're Cynthia Petrie.
You were friends now. Don't you know me?
Oh, I feel that I know you and that we have been good friends, but I can't remember. I can't.
Philip is here, too. Philip? Mr. Barlow. I'm Mrs. Barlow. You're not afraid of Mr. Barlow? He's always been one of your favorite people.
Cynthia Petrie.
Does that name mean anything to you?
It means something.
We want you to come home with us. She'd be better off with us, wouldn't she? With friends?
You're going to Paris.
Oh, that can wait if we can help Cynthia. It might help, mightn't it?
I'm not a doctor.
She'd have the best medical attention.
Well, the police doctor in emergency said you might get your memory back at any time. Probably help if you were with friends.
I don't want to impose, but Where else could I go?
Back to the hospital, I suppose. We won't hear of it.
Come here. Cynthia Petrie. Cynthia Petrie. Cynthia. You were looking for something? I'm lost again. Is this your room?
Well, that's all right, dear. It's only natural that you could be a little confused. After you're here for a while, you'll feel perfectly at home. About the past, is it still a blank wall, or are you beginning to remember things? I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk about it.
I think it'd be better if it stayed a blank wall. But it isn't exactly. There's something in the back of my mind that I can't quite reach, like in this room. Things, I don't know, it seems familiar.
That's understandable. The rooms are very much the same. Hotel rooms at
Not
best.
just the room, it's things, little things like these that seem familiar.
But those are your things. Instinctively, you recognize them.
These are mine.
That's a very good sign.
How did they get here?
Mr. Barlow had them moved in here this morning. Evidently, the bellboy put them in my room by mistake. On your letters.
They were addressed to me.
Don used to write you every day.
Don?
Donald Hewitt. Doesn't the name mean anything to you?
Donald Hewitt. Don.
Love letters, I'm sure of that.
Why? I mean, why are you so sure?
Well, if the ribbon doesn't mean anything, you were thinking of getting married when those were written.
I was going to marry him? Donald Hewitt?
Why, yes. Mr. Barlow and I knew about that romance from the beginning. We approved.
But then why didn't he look for me?
Why, Cynthia, you changed your mind. Or at least you said so.
Why? Why did I do that?
I don't know. Perhaps it's all been discussed in those letters. Why don't you read them? Maybe it'll clear up a few things, or at least fill in some of the blank spots.
Did I know him? I mean, were we engaged for a long time?
Quite a long time. Why don't you go to your room now and read them?
Had you thought how long this might go on?
Yes.
Maybe we should consider taking her to Paris with us.
Would the police allow that?
I shouldn't think they'd have anything to say about it. The doctor recommended it.
Of course, there's a chance that it may all come back to her, even before we leave.
Yes, there's always that chance.
Philip. She's afraid of you.
Come in.
I haven't had much chance to talk to you.
Would you like for me to come outside?
No, this is all right. How are you feeling?
All right, thank you.
Anything I can get you? Oh.
You don't want me here, do you, Mr. Barlow? I'm in the way.
I don't believe you have amnesia any more than I do. I don't know what you expect to gain by this act, but couldn't you save it just for her?
I shouldn't have come here. I am in the way.
If you were in the way, if that were all. No, you have something else in that pretty head.
I want to leave. Perhaps if I could find Donald Hewitt,
Is he in on this, too?
In on what?
You tell me what. You remember his name, but nothing else.
I don't remember it. It was in these letters. They were addressed to me. I've been reading them.
Well, I'm sorry if I upset you. I thought if you got real angry, blew up, might help you remember.
I'm not faking, Mr. Barlow.
There's another way I could make sure. I should have tried it. Maybe... Don't be frightened. I believe you now because you used to want me like that. You were never afraid of me.
Cynthia!
Looking for a policeman, Miss Petrie?
Don't let him touch me.
Who?
Philip, Mr. Barlow.
I don't understand.
Maybe I made a mistake.
I shouldn't have come here. I want to leave.
But why? And why are you here?
I wondered how she was getting along.
I looked in on her to see if she'd join us for dinner.
You frightened her.
Well, I'm sorry if I have that effect on people.
I must have imagined something. Someone else.
Who?
I don't know. I just want to get out of here. There's something here I'm afraid of. It's not them. They've been good, but...
Get dressed.
She'll be all right. I'll put a nurse on with her. She was never afraid of me before.
If Lieutenant Grant thinks you should leave,
Will you help her with the things, Mrs. Barlow?
of course.
Okay, sorry to interrupt the program, but I'm begging you, please click the like button. Like right now, please. Okay.
Feeling better?
Yes.
I'm trying to locate Donald Hewitt. No luck yet. You any idea where he might be?
No, I know he was planning on leaving and going someplace. Well, he mentioned it in the letter, but I don't remember where it was.
Narrow Lake. You've been there. What's it like?
Well, I know he said that in the letter, too, but I don't remember it or what it's like or even what he's like.
You may as well take those with you. What do you have in mind, Miss Petrie, about doing for yourself?
I don't know.
Back to the Barlows?
No.
You've known him for a long time, haven't you?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You called him Philip. Don't let Philip touch me, you said.
I heard Mrs. Barlow call him Philip.
Merry Christmas.
It's my watch.
You haven't seen it since we fished you out of the river. When did you get it back? Your memory, when did you get it back? You have it back, haven't you? Come on, Miss Petrie, was I right in the first place? No amnesia at all. Or did your memory just come back?
It came back. A little bit. When he kissed me.
Barlow.
Just partly came back. Hazy things. Nothing real, just part of it.
The bad part, is that it?
Hazy things, awful things. It couldn't be real.
A cop soon learns to sort out the real from the unreal. What did you remember when Barlow tried to kiss you?
I don't know.
You didn't want him to kiss you?
You saw that.
You ran out and grabbed me. You were frightened of more than just being kissed.
No, I don't know.
Yes, you do. You grabbed me. And you were going to say something, but you saw Mrs. Barlow and changed your mind.
I didn't want to hurt her.
Why not?
She's been good to me.
She always been good to you?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I think so.
So you didn't want her to know her husband was on the prowl?
Yes, that was it.
According to Mrs. Barlow in these letters, you used to work for Barlow.
As a secretary.
You were a lot more than a secretary to him, weren't you? He wouldn't just walk in and try to kiss you. You and Mr. Barlow were very close. You remember, don't you? That's the bad part.
I guess so, yes.
That still doesn't explain why you're so frightened of him. He was with you the night you went in the river, wasn't he? You think your life is in danger, don't you?
She's in danger.
This is Barlow in danger.
I think so.
Is this one of the things you half remember?
I think he planned it for a long time. I think when he married her, he intended to kill her.
Why?
Money. She had a lot of money. It was willed to her. He came from a poor family. Throughout the years, he had to transfer most of her money into his name. He told her he was investing it for her, but he wasn't.
You found this out when you were working for him?
Yes, I found it out. No, that isn't right. He told me. I think we planned to take it and run away.
You thought so. Evidently he didn't think so. He tossed you in the river.
We were driving over a bridge. I told him I knew he was going to kill her because she'd found out about his plans.
And her murder would have ruined your honeymoon with a widower. You have ideals.
I told him I was going to the police. He stopped the car. I remember jumping. That's all.
Would you like to go in here and rest?
You'll watch out for her.
Yes, I'll watch out. Sergeant? Yes, sir? See if you can get Mrs. Barlow to stop over without her husband. And Sergeant, be tactful.
Thought she liked me. Why would she say such things to make trouble? To turn me against my husband?
They aren't true?
It's the most fantastically incredible story I've ever heard.
Well, she didn't tell it to harm you.
Well, then why?
Well, she's concerned for your welfare. She thinks your husband plans to kill you.
Poor girl is desperately ill.
You don't think he ever had any ideas about harming you?
I love my husband. We've been very happy together.
I'm sure you didn't.
Could I talk to her alone?
She just made that all up then, or imagined it, about you having the money in the family.
No, that part was true. I inherited money.
Lots of money?
Yes.
You said it was true about you having the money in the family.
My husband has control of it now. I gave him control when we were married. There's no secret about that.
You were happy together, you said.
Yes, very.
Then you don't believe he went to Miss Petrie's room the other night, and you do believe that part. Did you overhear what they talked about?
No,
But you believe her version?
I believe her.
How long have you known about your husband and Miss Petrie?
She's not to blame.
Well, Mrs. Barlow, I don't want to make trouble either. But isn't it possible that Miss Petrie, knowing of your husband's plans where he and she are concerned, might have reason to fear for your safety?
Philip may have cared for her, but he would never have hurt me physically.
She's in there. Sergeant, I guess you better get Dr. Kramer on the phone. Yes, sir.
Lieutenant Grant.
Yes?
I'm Don Hewitt.
Hold up that Kramer call a minute. Yes, sir. Come in.
Lieutenant, do you know where Cynthia is? Cynthia Petrie?
Yes?
Well, where? I've been looking everywhere for her. 2 weeks I've been looking.
2 weeks.
Yes, that's when her letters stopped coming completely. Please tell me where I can find her.
No, she's in there. Oh, wait a minute. I want to talk to you about those letters.
Well, that can wait. I want to see her first.
You're liable to kill any chance she has for recovery.
Recovery? Is she hurt?
How she had a shock. It brought on amnesia. She's beginning to come out of it.
Well, don't keep me waiting.
If you upset her now before the doctor sees
I don't
her-
want to upset her. I just want to talk to her.
What about? I mean, what would you talk about?
Well, about us, I suppose. Wouldn't that be normal?
Maybe ask her about the shock she had?
What are you driving at?
Well, I said she had a shock. It seems to me the normal thing would be to ask me what kind of a shock it was.
Well, you said that she wasn't hurt physically, so I figured it was something she'd rather tell me about. Do you intend to let me see her?
There's one thing she does remember. A man who was very close to her tried to toss her off a bridge.
You think that I tried to kill her?
Somebody did.
Well, then she was hurt.
She's wet.
Well, Mrs. Barlow. Are the Barlows looking out for her?
Sort of. Is that good?
Well, she always liked them. You don't think seeing me might help?
I just want the doctor to see her first. You say she always liked the Barlows.
Well, she seemed to like to work for him. I know that she had a lot of respect for Mr. Barlow. Big man, successful, made a lot of money, I guess. Maybe after being around them and seeing how they live, why, she didn't like the idea of living on a salesman's salary.
You're a salesman.
Yes, farm machinery. I travel around a lot. That's why you had such a hard time catching up with me. You know, it took almost 6 months' salary to buy that ring. Say, if she wanted to brush me, would she still be wearing my ring?
You ask her that tonight. I'll pick you up. Or better yet, you meet me here at 7.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
No. Uh-huh. Yeah. Could that be possible, Dr. Kramer? Could what I'm thinking be possible? Well, I'm taking him to see her tonight. I'll call you back, Doctor. Thanks.
Anything wrong, Lieutenant? Was she worse?
Oh, she's all right.
Then her memory's all right again.
Every bit of it. Come on.
I'll get it, dear.
Hello, Mr. Barlow.
He wants to see Cynthia.
You know she isn't here.
Cynthia! Why, this is Cynthia.
He should have returned his engagement ring, Miss Petrie.
Well, I don't understand. You said that she'd recovered her memory. She doesn't even know who I am.
She knows you. Up until you mentioned that ring this afternoon, I thought this was Mrs. Barlow.
My wife recovered her memory, I suppose.
No, she still thinks she's Cynthia Petrie.
How could that be?
Because Mr. Barlow and Cynthia told her she was. Believing that, she accepted things she read in your letters as parts of her own life. Dr. Kramer, our prison psychiatrist, confirmed my suspicions when he told me that patients recovering from amnesia are susceptible to suggestion. District Attorney will explain the rest in the complaint.
Okay, so that was the program. An abrupt ending, to be sure, but without the credits, this is where the show ends. So I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. That would be really, really cool if you would. There's a lot of stuff here that I think over 350 different programs at this point. So, yeah, subscribe if you liked it. I mean, like it. You know, the thumb thing, if you liked it. Really, we're trying to grow the channel a bit and appreciate you watching. So come back for the next one. Thanks.